All right, friends, this video is about mistakes that you can make with your left hand on the saxophone and how to correct them. My name is Dave. I teach people how to play the saxophone, and this caveat is that I am self-taught. I had a lesson when I was a young fellow, and my parents rented me an alto saxophone. It was a con, by the way, a shooting star. I'm still playing a con, although this is a 6M. It's a much older horn. It's about 75 years old. And the shooting star was a wonderful horn for me, and I got a free lesson. And I sat in a room with an old bald guy. I am now that old bald guy, right? Anyway, and I think he talked about his tenor sax, and I didn't get much in the way of technique out of it. And I think most of the technique I learned myself in band class. And as a result, I developed some habits that are neither good nor bad, but they don't work for me. They didn't work for me. They did at the time, but they didn't. They stopped working for me because they were improper. They were improper. There's a word. They just didn't. They didn't allow me to reach the keys. One of the things I did was I played like this. How many of you do that? You hold. You got your fingers are. You're kind of, and you've got a wing out here like you're going to fly away. Yeah. Let's not do that anymore. Let's bring them down. All right. Bring them down. Tuck your elbow into your side, and look what just happened. Now my left pinky can engage with what's called the pinky table. There are all these keys over here that make wonderful things happen, all right? It's not up here in the air anymore, flapping around like a seagull. It's down here. Very good. And my fingers are touching the pearls, these little pearl inlays here. And if you notice, my fat-fingered approach, I was actually touching the metal here, not on the pearls, right? So I've got, man, that was something it took a long time to relearn that. And I actually used Scotch tape. I made little loops of Scotch tape and put them on the pearls so at least I could feel them and tell myself yes or no, right? And the other thing with cramping your hand up like this and having your wing out is that now you're mashing on your palm keys, right? These bad boys over here, the palm keys that make your saxophone, but there's just absolutely beautiful high notes. And you want to be able to not make those scratchy notes that happen when you deploy. All it takes is a little bit of, just crack the seal just a tiny little bit with poor fingering. And you're like, oh no, the whole band class is looking at you. So this is important for beginners. Let's start using what we'll call the Lego hand. Now, I didn't come up with this. This came from a student named Samara. She's, I think, 10 or 11 or 12 years old. And she had a couple of hippie parents and they lived on a boat out in the bay. And I swear to God, they would row in and she would come over here and they would get a lesson and row back out to the boat. She said Lego hands. And I thought, that's perfect. So you kind of make the shape of a C. Say that past 10 times. Shape of a C. And look, your hand goes in straight. And it finds the right pearls, fingertips on the pearls, okay? And now you've got the latitude to reach around and engage the palm keys when you want. All right? Now, another mistake that we make with the left hand, and I see this frequently in beginners, is a mash on the octave trigger. You've got an octave trigger here. You've got your left thumb post, and you've got this octave key, and they come in many shapes and sizes. Back 70, 80 years ago, they made little ones. They're a lot bigger now and easier to find, but basically all you have to do is roll your thumb. Look at this action. I see a lot of students do this. They'll pick and do that. No, you don't need to do that. The least amount of movement, and it takes a very little bit of pressure to break the plane of the palm key to make, the octave trigger to make that note jump. Not very much going on there, just the least amount of movement possible. And I think I probably watched a lot of Charlie Parker videos where the notes are just flying like bugs. You can watch them too. YouTube is a great collection of that sort of thing. And his fingers are barely moving, right? They look like they're barely moving. He had great saxophone posture, okay? Now, the last thing I'm going to give you is the right hand. Many of us mistake this hook right here for a lifting. No, it is not. It is a moving in and out as needed. It is not to lift. You're not supporting the sax with your thumb. You are moving it in or out. The sax is supported by the neck strap or harness if you have one. And you've got these 3 points of contact. One is your mouth, your left thumb, and your right thumb. There's no lifting, just moving in and out like that. Lifting can make the saxophone feel off balance, and then you want to clutch it. I mean, what is this, about 8 or 7 pounds of brass here? And yeah, our first instinct is we gotta clutch this thing, we gotta squeeze it, right? So remember, Lego hands, come in straight, fingertips touch the pearls, plenty of clearance, especially for you beginners, you emerging sax players who are youngsters and you don't have big hands. I don't have big hands either. So you don't want to squeeze or press any of the palm keys accidentally and lose tone. And the same thing with your octave trigger. Left thumb rolls up, just a little bit of action to make that open up, okay? Hey, I hope this helps. If it did, hit that love button for me. Algorithms play a big part here in YouTube land. I don't really know what algorithms are, and I'm not sure how YouTube uses them, but they tell me that I should ask. And subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. I'm on a goal here to get at least 1 or 2 up every month, okay? Hope to help, and if you would like to deep dive into any of these subjects, reach out to me. I'll put my email address in the comments below, and I'm also offering special on Zoom lessons to all of those of you who are watching here today. All right, take care. That's all I got. See you again.